Hello, incredible soul, and welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast. I am Anna Fink, the wellness architect, and today I want to share something that has been so powerful on my journey of architecting radiant health. And I remember when I was first beginning to make dietary changes and lifestyle alterations, I felt very confused, overwhelmed, and restricted. I felt like these changes were restrictions. I didn't feel empowered by them. I felt like, well, now I can't have the gluten and I can't eat the pasta and the bread that I love, my favorite foods. And I felt so much restriction and limitation rather than seeing this as a path to my liberation because I had been experiencing so many digestive health issues, so many skin health issues, so many other symptoms for years that I had normalized. And I didn't realize that food was actually part of perpetuating those symptoms. In embodied wellness, I always speak about health hindering foods and health promoting foods. And so for me, now I don't see it as, oh, I can't eat this food and I feel restricted in my diet because a lot of people who follow the mainstream and eat a conventional diet will say you're restricted or you had these dietary restrictions. I know when I go out to eat and I state my dietary preferences, people will say, oh, okay, do you have any other dietary restrictions? And I say no. And I also say these are not restrictions to me, they are preferences. But it didn't always feel like that because initially they felt like restrictions and they felt very limiting. But now I see them as protection. And I want to offer this reframe and this wisdom for you because when we're making these changes for our betterment, for our improvement, for our health and our wellness and our future, it can feel like restriction because it's coming from a place of having something that you're so used to having to not having it. And that can feel like deprivation. But with embodied wellness, I want it to feel like devotion rather than deprivation. We are moving away from this victim lens, this victim mindset of feeling like this is happening to me, poor me. I can't eat this, I can't eat that. It's like you could eat that, but by eating that health hindering food like gluten, you're going to perpetuate the very symptoms that you are wanting to heal. So it's like pouring fire on a gasoline that you want to put out. It's like you want to put this fire out, yet you're continuing to pour gasoline, which is like equivalent to eating those very foods that feel like restrictions if you can't eat them, that perpetuate your symptoms and conditions. So it's this double-edged sword and understanding that you can choose and you have conscious choice every day and what you put in your body and how you nourish your body. I choose not to eat that food because I know how it makes me feel. I choose not to eat that food because I know the symptoms that ensue. And the more we connect to our body, the more we connect to our power. And our body is always speaking to us. These symptoms that you're experiencing are simply codes. They're ready to be decoded and addressed so that your body can be recoded for radiance. The symptoms are signals, they're messages from your body, and they're inviting you to rise. They're invitations rather than limitations. And we see that these dietary preferences that once can be perceived as restrictions can be alchemized into protection because they are a form of protection because you want to feel radiant, you want to have limitless energy, you want to have healthy, balanced hormones and clear skin, yet you're still eating the very foods that code your body for survival and perpetuate those very symptoms that you would love to be rid of. And so this is why this reframe is so important because every single individual is experiencing at least one symptom. Whether they know it or not, they've normalized these symptoms. And so when we're aware of our symptoms and we're aware of our role, and that is why I share embodied wellness because it is designed to empower you to become your own best wellness architect and to understand the role of food and structure of your life in creating that foundation of radiant health. So you can see how your body feels with these certain foods and notice the effects with and without them in your lifestyle, in your diet. And once you remove those foods, you'll begin to notice a shift. And as you begin to feel better, you'll do better, you'll change because food doesn't just impact us physically, it impacts us energetically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I know there are so many people that resist changing their diet because it feels restrictive, but I want to empower you and invite you to see it as something that is not restrictive but protective. because we've been conditioned to believe rather that eliminating a certain food is something that makes us feel like we're missing out. And when we change and we go away from the conventions and the conformity that lie within the conventional norms and standards for food and dietary norms, it can feel like destabilizing. It can feel so destabilizing to our nervous system. It can feel like we are the odd one out and we want to fit in, we want to belong. And so we have been taught that if we say no or we can't have that, it feels like punishment. It feels like limitation. But what if it's actually protection and liberation? So this is my invitation to you to see restriction as the gateway to protection, right? It's like the restriction was never meant to limit you. It was never meant to harm you. It was always there to protect you. Restriction says, I can't have that. Protection says, I choose not to because I honor my body, my health, and how I feel. When we choose to show up as empowered wellness architects of our lives, everything shifts. The way we speak about ourselves, the way we speak about our health, it all shifts. Restriction creates limitation, but protection creates liberation. And these are the shifts that I witness in myself, in my clients, and I want to offer to you. Protection and changing our lifestyle and making these lifestyle alterations, it's not about rigid rules or perfection. It's about building a relationship with yourself, with your body, with food that is rooted in love and awareness and empowerment so that you can choose a new way. It's like that man who helps people break free from addictions to smoking cigarettes. Instead of focusing on, I can't have that food, I can't have that cigarette, it's like, I am focusing on who I am becoming and all that I get to experience, the radiant health. I get to feel good. I get to feel energized. I get to experience myself so much more authentically and more present than I would before. So when you nourish yourself and your body from a place of love and understanding and devotion rather than deprivation and restriction, from protection and devotion, everything changes. Your body becomes more receptive. It becomes more aligned and attuned and it responds. Your energy expands, your radiance awakens. You become who you were always meant to be. You become embodied and empowered because food is simply part of the foundation of architecting radiant health. But we need to understand what foods code our body for survival and what foods code our body for radiance and healing. And as you begin to understand that, you see it not from the lens of rigid restriction, but of empowered, powerful protection. Every choice you make becomes an act of devotion to your most radiant, confident, and embodied, empowered self, who you are becoming. Because when we focus on what we've always known and we recreate what we've always known by eating the same things and experiencing the same symptoms, we don't change. We have to change. We are the ones to catalyze the change. We are the architects. We are the ones to create the radiant health that we desire. It's not going to happen by following the conventional way. I tried that, but the conventional way led me astray. And that is why I have pioneered my own way. You are not restricting yourself from life. You're protecting your health so you can live your life more fully, more healthily, more authentically, because your health is the foundation for your life. It is what allows you to come into alignment and into your soul purpose and potential. So this is my invitation for you to realize your power to change your health, to transform your life, and to become who you are meant to be through changing how you see yourself and how you do and choose your lifestyle because you are here to be empowered and free and liberated. You're not here to live restricted by your symptoms, by the situation, the context, the circumstances you're in right now. Everything you're experiencing is simply feedback. So these symptoms are ready to be healed, but the foods we eat have a critical role in healing us. So when you see it from this lens of protection rather than restriction, you begin to change and it feels different. I have helped people who thought they would never be able to give up their favorite food, like eggs, to let them go and begin to notice the weight melt away, to notice the joint pain and the inflammation subside, because food has properties that are encoding our cells with information and nutrients. And some of these nutrients or some of these ingredients in foods feed the pathogens, the root at which the symptom is growing. So you need to know what the truth is behind your symptoms, behind your actions. We do this from love, not restriction. It's like I love myself so much that I choose not to have that food. And it feels very empowering. But before, it felt so limiting and triggering because my food choices would trigger someone else and their food choices. So I trust this will find you when it's meant to, and that you will become more empowered in architecting your life and architecting your health, knowing that you choose and your actions code your body, your reality. Have an incredible day, and I can't wait to speak soon.